What we're covering: fierce fighting continues in eastern Ukraine, as Moscow and Kyiv battle for control of the city of Bakhmut and other strategic towns in the Donetsk region. U.S. President Joe Biden has reiterated that Washington will not provide fighter jets to Ukraine in the face of renewed calls from Kyiv. President Vladimir Putin's former speechwriter claims that a military coup is becoming a possibility in Russia as losses in Ukraine mount and Western sanctions take a toll. Croatian President Zoran Milanovic said it is a mad for NATO allies to provide tanks to Ukraine and railed against Western support for Kyiv. Russia sent more than 9,000 illegally mobilized citizens back home. Russian Prosecutor General says from CNN's Anna Chernova Russia had to send home more than 9,000 people who were illegally mobilized, Prosecutor General Igor Krasnov told Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday. Through the efforts of supervision, more than 9,000 citizens who were illegally mobilized were returned home, including those who, due to their health condition, should not have been mobilized in any case, Krasnov said at a televised meeting with Putin in the Kremlin. Mobilization had not been carried out for a long time in Russia, he added, and it revealed a lot of significant problems. In addition, most issues with supplying body armor and uniforms to the front have been resolved, according to Krasnov. Now we control the supply of winter uniforms to mobilized military personnel, as well as the formation of appropriate warehouses and their safety, he said. Russian citizens had used crowdfunding to equip soldiers deployed to Ukraine as troops said they've been short of even basic equipment. Some background: Putin announced a partial mobilization in late September 2022 after Russia suffered a series of major setbacks on the battlefields in Ukraine. The controversial draft sparked protests and an exodus of men from the country before it was suspended November 1, after the target of 300,000 personnel was met its mid-afternoon in Kyiv. Here's what you need to know. From CNN staff: the area around the city of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine is seeing fierce fighting as Russian forces mount an offensive intended to take a key highway. Russian forces have also carried out strikes in Luhansk region and Kharkiv region, where one civilian was killed by shelling. Here are the latest headlines. Intense fighting around Bakhmut. The eastern Ukrainian city of Bakhmut continues to see fierce fighting as Russian forces try to take control of a key highway and disrupt supplies to Bakhmut. Russian airborne units have joined Wagner mercenaries in the fight for the city, according to a former Ukrainian military commander. Ukrainian forces have also repelled Russian attacks in the wider Donetsk region in the last 24 hours, including Avdiivka, Volodar, and other towns. Luhansk region also under attack. The situation in Luhansk region also remains difficult, the Luhansk Regional Military Administration said Tuesday. Russian forces have launched attacks in the areas of Novoselivsk and Bilohorivka, regional authorities said. Civilian killed by Russian shelling in Kharkiv region. A 62-year-old man died in the town of Vovchansk as a result of shelling, the Kharkiv Region Military Administration said Tuesday. An 83-year-old woman was injured. The shelling also damaged the police department building, apartment buildings, and warehouses. IOC rejects criticism over Russia position. The International Olympic Committee says it rejects defamatory statements by Ukrainian presidential aide Mikhailo Podolyak following the committee's decision to consider ways for Russian athletes to compete in the 2024 Olympic Games. The IOC has indicated that Russian and Belarusian athletes could be allowed to participate in competitions as neutral athletes. Japan and NATO to strengthen ties. NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida have pledged to deepen cooperation in the face of an authoritarian pushback against the international rules-based order, led by Russia and China. Transatlantic and Indo-Pacific security is deeply interconnected, said the pair in a joint statement,